Okay, so this is where I am. It's a town called Tzfat, and it's a Friday morning. I'm walking around. Just wanted to show you guys this little town. Very cute, very artsy. I'm gonna go get some breakfast, and I'm also putting the baby to sleep. She's sleeping. She gets sometimes she falls asleep more easily when it's in a stroller. So, well, let me show you this alleyway. It's very cute. I guess people are shopping and getting ready for Shabbat. The way I would describe this town and the people in it, very sweet and very eccentric. Eccentric is the word I would use. Artsy, eccentric, quaint. Is that a good word to describe Tzfat? I don't know. I don't know if I would say quaint. So I just want to do a little outfit check. I'm wearing a skirt, which I was actually wearing leggings, but then I came outside and I noticed that everyone's dressed really religiously, like really covered up, and I just felt like I'm insulting people. And I really don't believe in like I feel like do as the Romans do, you know, like when in Rome, do as the Romans do. Like, don't like try to stick out, you know, like, so I just, yeah, like I'll wear leggings somewhere else, but not in a place where it can be offensive, you know? Like, I'll wear a bikini in Bali, I'll wear leggings in I don't know, Greece or Tel Aviv. So you guys know that I'm a sucker for healthy desserts. These are chocolate souffles and mocha bars and all these peanut butter balls. Healthy, no flour, no sugar. At the same time that I think it's important to be yourself authentically, I think it's also important to have a way that you relate to people around you. So, you know, maybe I won't look exactly like all the Hasidic people around me, you know, like I won't be like dressed in like head to toe garb, whatever. You know, my hair isn't like totally covered or at all covered, but I won't be wearing a bikini out here. Bumpy ride for booty. I was thinking about the difference between a psychotic break and a spiritual awakening, because I feel like a lot of people that I know and that I've heard of have had an experience that could have been interpreted as a psychotic break or a spiritual awakening, depending on who you are. And some people would call it like a Kundalini awakening, and I've probably talked about this before. Just because I've always been fascinated by the idea that the same thing that could be considered genius could be considered also neurotic by other people. You know, genius by some people, neurotic by other people. The same thing that could be considered a spiritual awakening by some people could be considered a psychotic break by other people. Same thing that could be considered brilliant, amazing, could be considered, I'm like looking at the wrong thing for the camera, be considered delusional by other people. And so really, depending on whom you are around is how you will be perceived. And the thing is, the more you travel and the more you get to know different people, the more you realize that there really isn't good and bad. There's like, good and bad are like our human interpretations of things, but everything could be considered good or bad depending on your community, depending on your ideology, depending on where you're at. And it can be manifested as good or bad, you know, through your lens, and it could end up causing you to become more productive or less productive. But for example, things that you go through in life can either become interpreted as like the worst thing ever or the best thing ever, depending on who you are. Being, you know, having a job in finance could be considered the most dull, stupid, boring thing ever, or be considered the highest, most prestigious job that someone can have, a privilege. And depending on how you perceive it is how well you're going to do at it, and how well you'll be motivated to make it into a productive thing that benefits your life. And same with like most things in life, you know, there isn't really an objective good or bad. It's only objective as far as you make it good or bad. You can really interpret your life the way you want, but it also will be heavily influenced by the people around you, the community you're in, the paradigm that you're in. If you're in a city where like it's, you know, the worst thing to be married, for example, you know, I've been in cities where like it's like the worst thing to be married because like everyone's like a single expat that's like, you know, having fun being single and all these things. And then I've been in cities where it's like the worst thing to be single because everyone's like married and they're like kind of building families and things like that. Chewing my watch. So, and then depending on how you interpret it, your life based on that paradigm is how you're going to perform. So it's really important that whatever you do, you try to surround yourself with people that you perceive as having a good opinion of you. Not people that have a good opinion of you, because you never know. Many times you think people have a bad opinion of you, or you think they have a good opinion of you, and it's really the opposite. You know, you never know what's going through people's minds. Our perceptions of what other people think of us is often not the truth, because we're biased. Our minds tend to exaggerate in the direction that we know to be true. So it has to be whatever you perceive other people as thinking of you. You have to put yourself in places where you perceive that others think highly of you, not places where others think highly of you. It has to be where, in places, paradigms, groups of people, realities where you perceive others as having a high opinion of you. And I'm not saying that you need others' opinions, you know, but it's just like, I don't like this idea where like we have to make life as hard for ourselves as possible. Otherwise it won't be real. Why? Why would you want to make life as hard for yourself as possible? These are the tools to get ahead. You know, it's like you pray to God to like give you signs and give you tools to make your life easier. And then God gives you these things. And then you push them away because you're like, no, I want it to be real. I want a sign from God. Like, these are the signs. These are the tools that I'm giving you. If you want your personality traits and flaws. You know, I have a lot of what I would consider flaws, but there isn't really flaws, is there? We're all kind of created perfect in the way we need to be. We're all kind of created exactly the way we need to be. We're all kind of exactly the way we should be. So the same thing that is considered a flaw in the place that you're in could be, you know, someone might say you're too self-centered. Well, hey, you might actually just be really popular and famous if you took a lot of pictures of yourself and put yourself on Instagram. You know, the same people that will say you're just too obsessed with yourself will, you know, the same things that will cause people to say that you're too obsessed with yourself in another paradigm, in another group of people, will make you really popular, make a lot of money, make you really famous on Instagram. And people won't, you know, they'll respect it. So this is a thought experiment for anyone watching this right now. Think of the things that you really hate about yourself that are kind of flaws. And think of the paradigm that you exist in right now. Why are this, like, for example, for me, I feel like I am just, right now, I just feel like I'm too agreeable with everybody. Like, I'm just okay with everybody. I agree with everybody. And I feel like I'm in a washing machine because, like, I'm just so open to everybody. I'm just agreeing with everybody about everything. I don't feel like I am in control of myself and, like, you know, having, like, one opinion. That thing could be a really good thing. It means that my life can go in any which direction. Being agreeable can be a good thing, and it can be not a weakness. And so instead of seeing myself as a weakness, as being a weakness, I could see that as a strength. And I can also think about paradigms and strategies, lifestyles in which that would be a strength and not a weakness. Maybe, you know, I can keep making these videos, and it will mean that I'll reach more people because I can speak to more people. Maybe it means that I can exist beyond one community. You know, feeling like I don't know, overwhelmed by being around people all the time, being easily overwhelmed. Well, maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that means that I will put more effort and attention to the individual interactions that I have instead of spreading myself thin. Maybe I shouldn't be putting myself in environments, places, people where the way to get by is by spreading yourself thin and talking to every single person that you see. So I don't know if that's kind of helpful or resonates with anybody right now, but if it does, I'm curious what you think in the comments. It's good to see you guys, as always. Bye.